Hello everyone, I am Professor Ken Wakchorin. In this session, we are going to solve the numerical based on the epicyclic gear train. In the earlier session also we have solved some numerical. In this session also we will solve some numerical based on the epicyclic gear train, as well as we are going to learn the new technique or one of the method in the for the epicyclic gear train, which is the algebraic method. We are just taking the overview of that algebraic method. Okay. The session objective, you should aware or to aware the students about this tabular and the algebraic method. The student will an objective again, uh, student will able to do the kinematic analysis of the epicyclic gear train using the algebraic method and the tabular method. This is our objective. Now we'll study or consider one numerical. In an epicyclic gear train, the arm carries two gears A and B. Arm carries two gears A and B, 36 and 45 teeth respectively. That means in this case, if we consider the A, number of teeth on the gear A is equal to 36, number of teeth on the gear B is of the 45. If the arm rotates 150 rpm, that means speed of that arm which is of 150 rpm, nc is equal to 150 rpm in anti-clockwise. That means minus 150 rpm if we consider anti-clockwise direction as the negative and clockwise as the positive. About the center of rotation of the gear A, which is fixed, that means gear A is fixed, that means speed of gear A, na is equal to 0, and we need to find out the speed of gear B. Okay, now just consider this: ta is equal to 36, tb is equal to 45, and nc is equal to 150, and that na is also given in a, which is of 0. Okay, again we need to use the same gear train. Gear A, though it is of small number of teeth, that means it should be the smaller. I have considered the earlier example, that's why it looks like this, that larger, but it should be the smaller. In A, number of teeth on the gear A is equal to 36, number of teeth on the gear B is equal to 45, and that arm which rotates in the anti-clockwise direction with the 150 rpm. Again, that arm C is fixed, or C is the arm. From A, motion is given to B. Okay, again we have to draw one table which is remains same, that table remains same. Again here we need to consider the first condition: arm C is fixed and gear A completes the plus 1 rotation. Arm is fixed, gear A completes the plus 1 rotation. Again, that nb upon na is equal to ta upon tb, but gear, now in this case we consider the gear A completes the plus 1 rotation. That's why speed of that gear B, which is in the opposite direction, which is the anti-clockwise direction, that's why nb is equal to minus ta upon tb. Again you have to just multiply by the x. We will find this equation: multiply by the x, multiply by the x, multiply by the x. Okay, again we need to add the y rotation of the arm. In this case, that here don't put the value of this nc direct over here. Here you have to just consider this table only. Ny, sorry, here you have to add the plus y rotation of the arm, plus y and plus y. Now we need to add these two steps: 0 plus y, which is the y, x plus y, which is the speed of gear A, and y minus x ta upon tb, which is the speed of gear B. Now nc is equal to y, na is equal to x plus y, and nb is equal to y minus x ta upon tb. Now in this case nc is equal to minus 150, nc is equal to minus 150, but nc is equal to y, that means that y is equal to minus 150. Now that means y is known to us. In this case we need to find out the speed of gear B. To find out the speed of gear B, that means in this equation we need to find out y, we need to find out x, t and tb are given to us. That means again one unknown, which is the x, that we need to find. Now second condition is mentioned, that center of the gear, that gear A which is fixed, that means na is equal to 0, that means x plus y is equal to 0, x is equal to minus y, that means x is equal to that minus y minus 150, which is the x is equal to 150. Now x and y are known to us, t and tb are known to us. We can find out the speed of gear B. Okay, if you put all these values in this equation, you can find that nb, gear B rotates with the 270 rpm in the that it is again having the minus sign. That's why here you have to consider the anti-clockwise direction, 270 rpm anti-clockwise direction. In this way we have to solve the numericals. Ultimately, first of all, you need to draw this table, you need to put all these equations. Again, we have to consider this again carefully. We need to put these values and we have to find out the speed of gear A, gear B, which that we want to find out, that we can find out. This is the tabular method. Now I will increase the complexity of this numerical adding by adding one more annular gear. In this case, in an epicyclic gear train, a arm carries two gears A and B, 36 and 45 number of teeth respectively. Gear B gives the motion to the annular gear D. Just try to understand, annular means the internal gear. If the arm rotates at 150 rpm, all these conditions are remain same, that arm rotates with the 150 rpm anti-clockwise direction, and the center of the gear, about the center of the gear of A, which is fixed. Again, gear E is fixed. Here we need to find out the determine the speed of gear B as well as annular gear D. Okay, that TA, TB are given. Now this is the new diagram. From A, motion is given to that B, and from B, motion is given to this annular gear D. This is the internal gear. Okay, now to find out the speed of this gear D, we need to find out the number of teeth on this gear D. For this, again we know that the radius of this gear, radius of the gear D is equal to radius of gear A plus the diameter of the gear B, that means 2 times RB is equal to radius of gear D. As we know, M module is equal to D by T. That means again all the gears are having the same module, only after that we can transmit the motion, or this satisfies the law of gearing. 2 into M into TD is equal to, that means M is equal to D by TD. Again M is equal to DA by TA, M is equal to TB by dB by TB. Okay, that values you have to put over here. We can find that TD is equal to TA plus twice TB. Okay, that means using this, again TA is known to us and TB is known to us. By using this we can find out the value of TD, which is of 126. That TD consists of 126 number of teeth. Okay, now that number of teeth on that gear D are known to us. Now again just consider the motion, that C is the R. From A, motion is given to B, and from B, motion is given to gear D. Okay, now again in this case also by step by step we'll move ahead. Again that arm C is fixed. From gear A completes, this is not the completes plus 1 rotation. That means arm C is fixed. Gear A completes the plus 1 rotation. That means gear A is equal to plus 1. Gear B, which is of NB is equal to NA is equal to TA upon TB. Again gear A and gear B are the having the external meshing, that's why both are rotated in the opposite direction. That means gear B, which rotates in the anti-clockwise direction. That's why that NB is equal to minus TA upon TB, because of its direction only. Otherwise formula remains same, only when it rotates in the opposite direction you need to take the negative sign. Okay, that's why NB is equal to minus TA upon TB. Now we'll find the speed of gear D. Now B and D are having the internal meshing, that gear B and gear D are having the internal meshing. Again ND is equal to TB upon TD. That means ND upon NB is equal to TB upon TD. That means ND is equal to TB upon TD into NB. But TB is equal to, sorry, this NB is equal to NB is equal to TA upon TB. NB is equal to TA upon TB. That value you need to put over here. That means this value. NB is equal to TA upon TB. Now in this case, don't consider its direction. Don't consider the direction. Here you have to just concentrate on this formula, which is the magnitude, which is the TA upon TB. That formula you need to put over here. Okay. Again, by putting this value, now concentrate on this direction. Now this arm A, which complete the +1 rotation, which is the clockwise. This rotates in the anti-clockwise direction. Okay. Again, when there are the internal meshing, both the mesh gear rotates in the same direction. This is the clockwise, this is the clockwise, this is the anti-clockwise, and gear D, which also rotates in the anti-clockwise direction. That's why here you need to consider ND is equal to minus TA upon TD. That's why this is the ND is equal to minus TA upon TD. Okay. Now in this next step, just consider the step number 2. Here you have to just consider all the that multiply that step 1 by the x, will find this step. Again you need to add the y rotation of the arm. Just add the y rotation of the arm and you will find NC is equal to y, NA is equal to x plus y, NB is equal to y minus x TA upon TB, and ND is equal to y minus x TA upon TD. Okay, that means we can find that means we have generate the formula for the speed of the each gear. Okay, NC is equal to y, but in this case NC is given. NC is equal to, okay, again NA is equal to x plus y, NB is equal to y minus x TA upon TB, and ND is equal to y minus x TA upon TD. NC is equal to minus 150, that means y is equal to minus 150. Again NA is fixed, that gear A is fixed. There is no any rotation to this gear. Gear A is fixed. That means NA is equal to 0, but its formula is x plus y. That means x plus y is equal to 0, x is equal to minus y, y is equal to minus 150. That's why x is equal to 150. Okay. Now here we need to find out the formula of ND is known to us. ND is equal to y minus x TA upon TD. Number of teeth on that gear A are known to us. Again number of teeth on the gear D are known to us. Okay. Next ND is equal to, we have to just put these all values. ND is equal to y is equal to minus 150. X is equal to 150. TA, which are known to us, TA is equal to 36, and TD is of 126. Okay. By putting all these values, we'll find your final answer, which is ND is equal to minus 192.87 RPM. That means 192.87, in that minus sign signifies that it rotates in the anti-clockwise direction, which is the anti-clockwise direction. In this way, we have to solve the numerical based on the epicyclic gear train. Okay. Again, there is one, I'll just try to explain you one simple trick how to do this. Again, just what you have to do here, you have to separate the arm. That arm is, that means you have to write down towards the left side. Again you have to consider the input gear. In this case any one may be input. You can take the D as a input or the A as a input. These are the spur gears. You can, that choices depends on you. You can take anyone as a input. Okay, now gear motion is, now in this case I am assuming that gear A is the input. From A motion is given to B, and from B motion is given to D. Again NA is equal to plus 1, that's why NB is equal to TA upon TB, and ND is equal to TA upon TD. Just try to understand. I'll just rewind. NB is equal to TA upon TB, ND is equal to TA upon TD. Here you have to consider their directions. That gear A completely plus 1 rotation, that's why its sign is positive. Gear A and gear B are the external meshing. For the external meshing, both the gears are rotates in the opposite direction. That means gear B will rotates in the anti-clockwise direction. That's why it is of minus sign. Again, B and D are having the internal meshing. That means as that gear rotates in the same direction that gear D rotates. That means both the gear rotates in the same direction. That's why that it is having the negative sign. Next, in the next step you have to just multiply by the x. In the next step you have to just multiply by the y, and in the next step you have to just add the y. You have to just add the step 2 and step 3. You will find out the speed of gear C, speed of gear A, speed of gear B, and the speed of gear D. In this way, this is the one simple trick. With the help of this you can find out the, or which is helpful to write down this table. Now I will just make this numerical more complex. In this case I will just add that earlier it was the, this is the simple epicyclic gear train. Now I will make it the complex, compound epicyclic gear train. Now this gear A, from this gear A motion is given to this gear B. From gear B and gear E are mounted on the same shaft. We already studied the compound gear train, that gear E and gear B are the compound gears. That means this gear train, which is called as the compound epicyclic gear train. Compound epicyclic gear train. From gear A motion is given to B. B and E are the compound gears. Again from B motion is given to D, and from E motion is given to F. I will just draw this simple trick over here. C is separate. A, from A motion is given to B. From B motion is given to D. B and E are the compound gears. B and E are the compound gears. That's why B and E are having the same speed. And from E motion is given to F. Motion is given to F. Okay. In the same fashion you have to write down the that elements. NA, NC, NA, NB is equal to MD, NE. From B motion is given to D, and then last gear is the NF. Okay. Now NA is equal to plus 1. From A motion is given to B. Again that's why which is of TA upon TB. But it rotates, gear A and gear B are having the external meshing. That's why that direction is the anticlockwise. Now from B motion is given to D. That's why NA upon ND is equal to TA upon TD, which is of, again B and D are the external meshing. That's why gear D also rotates in the anticlockwise direction. Okay. Next, gear B, NE is equal to NB. That we already written over here. Without, that means without, otherwise you can write down over here also, but no need to waste your time. You can directly write down over here NB is equal to NE. Next, from NE motion is given to the F. That means your sequence is like this: TA, TB. Next from B motion is given to E, and from E motion is given to F. For such cases what you have to write down: TA upon TB into TE upon TF. That means your equation becomes TA upon TB into TE upon TF. Again, if you consider their directions, that gear A rotates in the clockwise direction, gear B which rotates in the anti-clockwise. Again gear E, B and E are the compound gears, both are rotates in the anti-clockwise direction. That means gear E rotates in the anti-clockwise direction, and gear F and gear E are having the internal meshing. That's why gear F also rotates in the anti-clockwise direction. That's why it is having the minus sign. Again multiply all the that step 1 by the x, we will find this step. Again this, again we need to add the y rotation of this arm. That means here you have to, everywhere you have to add the yy, and you have to take the addition of the step 2 and step 3. You will find this y, x plus y, n a is equal to x plus y, nb is equal to ne is equal to y minus x ta upon tb. Again nd is equal to y minus x ta upon td, and nf is equal to y minus x, actually I just miss this, y minus x ta upon tb into ta upon tf. If you find the value of x and y, and if you find out the number of teeth, you can find out the speed of any gear using this tabular method. Here we will consider the direction. Gear A rotates in the clockwise, gear B rotates in the anti-clockwise, gear D is also rotates in the anti-clockwise, E anti-clockwise again, and F is also rotates in the anti-clockwise direction. Now last we are going to study the algebraic method. This is again the one of the simple method to do the kinematic analysis of the epicyclic gear train. In this case, again there are the, just consider for the simple gear train, three members, gear A, gear B and the arm. Now here we need to define the two conditions, that here you have to again fix the arm, and other specific motion that we need to define, that I will explain in the next part. Okay, now let arm C is fixed in the epicyclic gear train. That means if you consider the speed of gear A with respect to arm, which is the relative speed, that means which is of NA with respect to C, which is of NA minus NC. Again we need to define the speed of gear B with respect to C, which is of NB minus NC. Now speed of, if you take the ratio of these two, again gear A and gear B are rotates in the opposite direction, and if we take the ratio of these two, velocity ratio, NB minus NC upon NA upon NA minus NC is equal to minus TA upon TB. This is your first condition. If you take NC is equal to 0, speed of this arm is equal to 0, you can find NB upon NA is equal to minus TA upon TB, that we already studied in the tabular method. Okay. In the second condition, if that gear A is fixed, that means NA is equal to 0 in this equation. That means, okay, this is the same equation. That means NB minus NC upon minus NC, that means that A is equal to 0, that's why it becomes 0, is equal to minus TA upon TB. By rearranging these terms, you will find NB upon NC is equal to 1 plus TA upon TB. In this also, if we know the value of, if we know the speed of this gear A, TA and TB are known to us, we can find out the speed of this gear B. Or if we knows the number of teeth on gear A and B, and if we knows the rotation of this gear C, you can find out the rotation of this gear B. In this way, this is the algebraic method. Using this, we can do the kinematic analysis of the epicyclic gear train. With this, we'll come to the conclusion. At the end of this session, what you will get, or what you can do with the help of this session, by doing this analysis, you can use this kinematic analysis while designing the gear trains and the gearboxes for the industrial and the automobile application. With this, I will finish my session over here. Thank you for your patience listening. Thank you very much.